All right, here we go. What's going on, guys? Let me know if you can see my stream. Go ahead and leave a comment if you can. This is my first time doing StreamYard, so I'm testing everything out for the first time. All right. All right, and we're live. I can see myself on the playback video. Thanks for watching, guys. This is episode 1 of Toxic Tuesday podcast. This is my first time doing a live stream. I just bought this camera a couple days ago. I really wanted to test it out. I want to engage more with the community and talk more with you guys personally. So let's see how this goes. This is my first time doing this, and I have a couple of things that I want to talk about, a couple of topics. I don't know how to use StreamYard too well yet. Learning the trend, I don't know how to use the transitions and how to do the screen sharing yet, so forgive me. But let's do the test pilot episode first, and we'll see how that goes. Now, again, I have a couple of topics I want to talk about. Please engage with me if you want. Go ahead and put in the comments, and I'll highlight some of those comments. Also, I just got this really cool Bullet Club shirt that came in the mail today. Bullet Club Gold. That's Jay White and Juice Robinson on AEW. First things first, I want to get something out of the way real quick. Touch it and go because I don't want to bring attention to it. I was really excited for this podcast, and I saw some nasty stuff this morning when I woke up. I saw a terrible, terrible stream, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't think people's personal stuff should be on the internet like that. But what I do have to say is, guys, if you know what I'm talking about, please be respectful. Send your love and support to those who need it, and respect people's privacies. Please do not put people's dirty laundry out in the air. I've already seen some stuff on Facebook and Discord. Please have respect. Um, Again, and if you're a content creator, please refrain from responding because if you respond and you do a video, all that's going to happen is they're going to clip your response and it's going to keep going and it's never going to stop. So if you know what I'm talking about, please refrain from responding. Send your love and support to those who need it. And again, like I say in all of my videos, you spread love, not hate. We really need to be respectful of our fellow community members. So for sale, what's going on, brother? Thanks for watching. I have 10 cabinets. I have 9 cabinets, including my iArcade, the Retromania. So we'll go down the list. I have the Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe. I have the MVC and MVC2. I have the Simpsons. I have the Fast and Furious. Big Blue. Killer Instinct. I got it for the 150 sale. I have the Miss Pac-Man 40th anniversary head-to-head table, and I have the original Pac-Man head-to-head table, and then I have the Retromania iArcade cabinet. So that's pretty much all the cabinets I have. Can you hear me, guys? Is it a little muffled? I'm sorry if it's muffled. The camera has a microphone on it. I do have to get a new microphone that's a little bit clearer because the camera microphone is not that loud. So I apologize about that. We're learning. Some news in home arcade. Let's talk about the MVC2. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2 hit the docks. If you don't have that cabinet, they do have a new shipment. It's available on Best Buy right now, full price. That's the original MVC2 cabinet. And they also have a MVC2 Cross Kith. Now, I don't know if you heard about Kith. Kith is basically a streetwear brand. It's very popular, kind of like Supreme or Vape, although Vape is a little bit more mainstream. We didn't get any information on that cabinet yet, and I may be interested, maybe, depending on how that cabinet looks. If it's just a Kith logo on it, I'm not interested. Now, it's not the first time that Arcade1Up does a cross-brand promotion. They've done these privately with other companies, and they also had the Mortal Kombat 2 Supreme cabinet. Now, I like the art on that. However, it was the classic Shark Fin Gen 3 body, and I'm not really a fan of the Gen 3 body. It's kind of over it. I think it's old. But other than that, we really didn't get any information because Arcade1Up doesn't talk about any of their stuff. Everything is always a leak, and it's always the first time that we see, every time we see something from Arcade1Up, it's always the first time we hear about it is through a leak. So it's kind of getting stale in the home arcade news with that. But let me know if you're interested in the Kith. It's probably going to be a couple $100 more expensive. If you're not into hype stuff like Supreme and stuff like that, it's probably not going to interest you whatsoever. Sold for sale. I love the iArcade. I enjoyed it when it first came out, and we got a lot of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and talk about iArcade because that's one of the topics I wanted to talk about today. So basically, I got the iArcade about 3 weeks ago, or maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, when the Retromania sale went on. That was a 299 sale. And before I put that on, it's Pay in 4. If you know what PayPal Pay in 4 is, you basically split the payment up into four. And it was 399. 399. It was 299 with the shipping, $100, so it came up to $400. And basically, before I even made my final payment, they're out of business. Unfortunately, go figure. Um, so I bought a couple of stuff on sale. I bought some games on sale. I didn't get too much into it because I didn't want to dump a bunch of cash all at once. And then we get the big news that they're going out of business. Go figure. So Mystery Encoder has something coming out. Glenn has a deck coming out. Let me know if you're interested in that stuff. But there's been a lot of drama. Even after iArcade went out of business, we're still dealing with crap from the iArcade. So basically, we have the Mystery Encoder board coming out. He's got something planned. I'm kind of interested to see what he does. And then we have Glenn's deck, which if you want to get one or the other, remember Glenn's deck has more features on it. It's got buttons. It's got the trackball and spinner. So if you just want the USB for your Sinden light guns, go ahead. But we don't really know what's going to be available on that. If you didn't buy Operation Wolf and Thunderbolt ahead of time, then you're going to have to wait for some kind of hack. So let's stand by and see what happens with that. Brooklyn Mess is in the chat. Cheers. Corner K, what's going on, brother? Corner K, you're going to be getting a review unit for the Casino Cade. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm not going to get it myself, so I want to see what you think about it. So let's talk about the Casino Cade for a little bit. Arcade One Up, they put up the Casino Cade on their website. The very next day, they increased the price to $100. Arcade One Up, what are you guys doing, man? That's no way to get anybody to buy your stuff. Now there is a market for the Casino Cade. I have an aunt who loves gambling. She loves the mobile blackjack poker apps. She loves the virtual slot machines on the iPad. She would absolutely love the Casino Cade. The problem is, for $5.99, she wouldn't buy it. And anybody who has a friend or family who loves to go to the casinos and stuff like that, or play bingo, you know that they much rather spend $600 going to play bingo or going to the casino to actually play real slots over the machine. So if you increase the price, you're losing those people who are possibly consider picking it up when they walk by it in the store. Pricing is very important. And when you walk into Best Buy and you see something on the shelf, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the box and say, this is really cool. I like this. I wonder if I'm going to pick it up. The next question is, how much does it cost and can I do it? Now, the lower the price, the more likely you are to go ahead and pick it up and buy that cabinet. When you start raising the price, you're going to start losing people. That's when they're going to start saying, well, you know what? My rent's coming up. I think I'm going to have to pass on this. So I really don't know what's going on with that pricing. Arcade One Up, you got to do better. Again, they're doing stupid crap like they always do. But we'll see. Corner Kid, I'm looking forward to your review. Let's see how it looks. All right. And I think honestly, the body of that cabinet looks almost identical to the Gen 1 iArcade. It looks almost exactly the same. It's got the bar top, the speakers up top. Very familiar cabinet design. So we'll see. Stay in spirits. Thanks for showing up. I wanted to show my support at work. Sorry. Hey man, thanks for stopping by and leaving a comment. It's Tuesday, so I'm not expecting too many people to hop in before work. But if you can, I appreciate that. Thanks for showing support. And let's move on to the next topic. So have any of you guys ever purchased anything from Limited Run Games before? So I have about 3-4 games that I bought from Limited Run Games, never shipped. And if you've purchased anything from them before, that special editions take a super, super long time to ship. Now I have about 6 or 7 games that I purchased from Limited Run Games before. Average turn time is 4 to 6 months, sometimes 8, depending on what you're purchasing. One of the biggest sets I got was the Streets of Rage 4, the big box set that comes with the statue. And that took about 6 months to show up, but lately they've been getting a lot worse and worse with their games. Like, stuff is just taking over a year to come out. And one of the worst cases that I've ever experienced with Limited Run Games was the Scott Pilgrim vinyl soundtrack. I got the game from them. That didn't take that long. For some reason, the vinyl soundtrack for Scott Pilgrim took almost 2 full years to show up. And unfortunately, when I got the record the first side A of that record, the first intro track, is warped, so it skips on the first track. So currently, I'm looking forward to seeing Shredder's Revenge. I got the big giant box set, the Radical Edition. That's gonna come with tons of stuff, and I'm really looking forward to unboxing that. I got River City Girls Zero, which is that Super Famicom port of the game. That comes with two action figures. I'm looking forward to that too, which is why I'm kind of annoyed that it's taking so long to show up. And then River City Girls 2, the actual second one that's coming out. Haven't gotten any word from them on that either. Chaotix DPR, thanks for showing up, buddy. Thanks for showing support on the first stream of Toxic Tuesday. I want to do a shout out for one of the community members that we haven't seen in a little bit. Outrun the Neon Sun, Dan. If you see this and catch this on a replay, we miss you, brother. We hope that everything goes well with your move. He's been really busy right now with the move right now and a lot of work stuff, so we haven't seen too much of Dan. But Dan, we hope everything works out for you. We're really excited to see you again. Can't wait to have you back on YouTube. And we're right here waiting for you, buddy. So excited to see you again whenever you come in. We'll be right here waiting for you. Carlo, thanks for showing up. Toxic and Chat, what's going on, brother? I want to talk about The Flash. Did you guys check out The Flash yet? The Flash movie came out, I think, about a week ago, and it's been doing really freaking bad in the box office. And I kind of want to share my thoughts on that because I honestly, personally think it's a good movie. I don't think there's any reason why it should be failing, but I do have my theories. Now, one of the biggest things I think that's causing these movies to flop, and it's not just The Flash. If you saw Black Adam or if you saw Shazam 2, you know those movies did bad in the box office, and it's my theory that Aquaman 2 is probably going to fail. Now, this movie was marketed as a soft reboot, and people were under the impression that Ben Affleck was going to disappear and be replaced with Michael Keaton. Although a lot of people are excited to see Michael Keaton come back as Batman, nobody really wanted a full reboot of the DC universe. Although a lot of the movies weren't that great, some of them were mediocre at its worst and okay and good at its best. But that doesn't really matter. If you see movies like Batman versus Superman, a lot of people didn't really like that movie, and it made a lot of money in the box office. So people are just not showing up for DC movies anymore. Once you say you're recasting Henry Cavill and you're getting rid of Batman and you're not sure if you're going to recast Ezra Miller, you start losing people. You start losing fan base. Why do I want to go see a movie when my favorite parts of the universe are no longer going to be around? There was really no reason to recast Superman. I think honestly what they could have done was just start with a Superman movie to get people hype again and then continue from there. Suicide Squad 2 or The Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, is one of my favorite DC movies by far. And that movie also didn't do well. They really should have went with Superman. I think telling people that you're done with Henry Cavill was a big mistake. You left a sour taste in people's mouth. The Justice League Snyder Cut was pretty good if you watch that movie. I enjoyed it very much. We're never going to see Darkseid. That sucks. That was a big mistake. And if you haven't seen Peacemaker on HBO Max, I highly recommend you go check that out. It's really good. And there's a really funny cameo in the ending episode. You got to stick around and watch it. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it yet. Go ahead and check that out. But if you haven't seen The Flash, I recommend it. It's a good movie. Very fun. I had a good time talking about the movie and with other people. And most people seem to agree that it is a good movie. So go ahead and check it out. If you heard bad reviews, see it for yourself. It's fun. And if you're not sure, go ahead and catch it on Matinee so you save a little bit of money on your movie ticket. Let's talk about what is your favorite arcade. If you could have one cabinet, in your house, a real cabinet, not a 3/4 scale. If you could have one real cabinet, what cabinet would you have in your house? To me, if I could have one real machine, I'm going to have to go with House of the Dead. House of the Dead was my favorite official real cabinet. I used to see that cabinet in every single pizzeria. Every laundromat had House of the Dead, and I have a lot of nostalgia for that game. Even though it's a very short game, it's one of my favorite shooters of all time. Now, the first time I saw that game in arcades, I bought the PC port for House of the Dead, which was basically the Sega Saturn version on PC. That was the first time I noticed a huge difference in graphics. I was young at the time. I was only about 6 or 7 years old. That was the first time that I saw an arcade cabinet and really recognized the difference in graphics between a home arcade and a a home console or PC port. I really was just intrigued with that. Now that one didn't have a sliding feature in the gun. I think Time Crisis was the first one to do that. But even though it's only 4 levels, I believe, and I think House of the Dead 2 was a better arcade cabinet. If I could have one cabinet, it would be House of the Dead. And they had tons of different styles for that cabinet. They had the original classic cabinet that just looked like your basic arcade machine. They had the one that was the big screen separate from the box, and it was kind of like on a stand. And I believe they also had a sit-down cabinet that was enclosed. You could sit down with the surround sound. That was amazing. I really wish that they would do a cabinet for that on the Arcade One Up. They probably are, and we just don't know about it because they don't talk about any of this stuff. So we'll never really know. I honestly didn't want to wait for them, and I put my PC in my MVC cab, and I play House of the Dead and House of the Dead 2 on that cabinet all the time. Now, one of the issues with that cabinet is they lost the original source code, which means that they can't really do the game again. But my argument for that is, if you lost the original source code, couldn't you reverse engineer the arcade ROM? I don't know a lot about game development, but I'm pretty sure they could reverse engineer that game. Or what you could do is you could put an M2 emulator on a chip and run it that way, because that's currently how I play House of the Dead. Chaotic, BPR, WrestleFest, AVP, NHL, Open Ice. If you guys haven't played Open Ice, that game is freaking awesome. It's basically NBA Jam with hockey. It's really fun. Always pick Gretzky, and you'll pretty much hit all your shots every single time. WrestleFest, that's a good one. But you know what's another one I really like? WrestleMania, the arcade game. WrestleMania, the arcade game, doesn't get a lot of love. It's one of Midway's most hidden gems to me personally. I think that game is awesome. I think everybody's played that game on the SNES or Genesis. WrestleMania, the arcade game, is freaking awesome. If you haven't played that, check it out. Sold for Sale, Injustice being made right now. Honestly, I think there is already a cabinet for Injustice. I'm pretty sure I've seen, I think, was it Phil, PD7? I think on his video, he did a walk and talk into one of the arcades, and I believe I saw an Injustice cabinet. So I do think they have a cabinet out already for that. Carl O, let's see what we got here. 720 is the coolest to me. We can pick up a Nintendo cabinet that plays multi-games VS. Not sure about 720. What do you mean by that? Elaborate a little bit. Have you guys ever played a Nintendo cabinet, the Versus machines and arcades before? One of my favorite arcade games that I've played from Nintendo was the Punch-Out. Punch-Out has 2 screens on it. It's almost completely different from the NES version. It's way better. Definitely check it out. And I've also played Super Mario Brothers Versus when I went to Tokyo. When I went to Tokyo, I went to a game store called Super Potato, and they have all retro games in there. If you ever go to Japan, check out Super Potato. Pretty much every single one of the arcades, they have an upstairs level, and on the top level, they have an arcade room in there where you could smoke cigarettes and you could play your arcades on a candy cab. So I played Super Mario Brothers Versus on a candy cab. Definitely want to check that out if you ever go to Japan. The Play 10 with all the NES hits. Yeah, it's the Nintendo Play Choice. I personally have always wanted one of those cabinets that you have in your house where you have the switcher. I think it's more of a kiosk. I'm really interested in having a kiosk. I just don't have hundreds of dollars to spend. 19K Fox converted one of his cabinets into a Sega Genesis cabinet. You've probably seen it in his videos, where he has a cutout on the bottom with, I think, the console or the games in the middle. I think that's really cool. So if you can't buy a kiosk, you can always go ahead and make your own kiosk. I think that's pretty awesome. So that's kind of one of my things. I want to make my own custom cabinet. I converted my MVC2 to a PC. The problem with that is I love the artwork, and so I don't want to reskin that cabinet. So I'm possibly going to wait for I would say like a Midway style cabinet like MVC2 or MK Deluxe to go on super sale and then skin that cabinet. Or maybe they do another $150 sale. Who knows? These things are going to get liquidated as they continue to drop more cabinets. We'll find out. Carlo says, Console Kits has a Play 10. It's sweet. Hey Justin, show us your stuff, man. Michael B, the Game Genie, he did a stream yesterday, and he basically said, "Hey, Justin has all these cabinets. He has all this really cool stuff. He never shows it off. I want to see it. Show us what kind of stuff you have. That'd be really freaking interesting." Have you guys played Final Fantasy 16 yet? I'm addicted. Final Fantasy 16 right now is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games so far. But my number one Final Fantasy game of all time is Final Fantasy 9. They need to do a remake of Final Fantasy 9. To me, it's one of the best PlayStation games of all time. That came out towards the end of the PlayStation Live. PS2 was getting ready to drop, but to me, nothing beats Final Fantasy 9. I know Final Fantasy 7 is a big favorite for a lot of people. Nothing beats Final Fantasy 9. I think it's just the most, in terms of story, it's the most basic and intriguing. It's very heartbreaking too. Very sad elements to that story. Very depressing, but man, is it good. So Final Fantasy 16 is really fun. The only issue I have right now with Final Fantasy 16 is that the beginning of the game is really, really confusing. I don't know what's going on with the story. It's kind of one of those things where they show you a scene and you don't really know what's happening, and then later they go back and explain some things. I don't want to spoil any of it, but it's pretty good. And it's a little bit adult. They do a lot of cursing, and there's some scenes in there, some semi-nude scenes, kind of like The Witcher. If you ever played The Witcher, you know they have some scenes, some really fun scenes in that game. So Final Fantasy 16, I highly recommend right now. Another game that I just picked up, not Sonic Mania, Sonic Origins Plus. Now, did you guys get Sonic Origins when it first came out? I totally skipped that one. When that game came out, first of all, it was all digital, and I'm not really into digital games. I just don't like the idea of not owning something that you can hold. If you're a collector like me, you want physical games. The best part about physical games is opening it up, pulling out the booklet. And I know a lot of booklets, we don't really get a lot of booklets anymore. So that kind of sucks because the packaging, ripping off the plastic is really fun. Um, midnight launches. Midnight launches is really awesome. Have you ever been to a midnight launch before? I went to a Super Smash Brothers midnight launch for the Wii U when that came out. That was really fun. Just meeting people, talking to people on the line, waiting for midnight, playing the game in the store. That's a really fun experience. When you're sitting on your couch all day, I mean, it's not fun. And we saw what happened with games like Scott Pilgrim, where I originally wanted Scott Pilgrim when it first came out on the Xbox 360. I downloaded the demo, and then I forgot about the game and I never purchased it. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. And also, even if I would have had that game on my physical hard drive, my 360 died. The hard drive wiped, so I would have never been able to access it again. So I'm not really into big onto digital games. I think everybody should have an option for physical games. And another example of that is, well, a lot of people say that physical media is dying. If you picked up the Mega Man Battle Network collection, you realize that that game sold out really fast on the Switch physically. They still have copies for PS5, but the Switch version sold out like instantly, and as far as I know, they never restocked it. So physical media is not dead. As long as they come out with physical media, I'm always going to buy a hard copy of a game. I love having the box there, looking at it, pulling it off the shelf. It is convenient to have the game on your hard drive and not have to get up. But come on, let's not be lazy. We used to pick up our games all the time and switch them into the cartridge into the slot all the time. So, not wanting to get off the couch to switch your game. I mean, let's be a little bit let's not be so lazy. Biggie D, what's going on, brother? So Biggie D just got his first super chat a couple days ago. Pretty interesting stream. That was pretty cool. I liked the Wii U I think it was the Wii U, right? You got the Ghost Recon, or the shooting game from Sega. I currently have my my Simpsons cabinet gutted, and I'm planning on putting a Raspberry Pi in there, but I haven't purchased it yet. So I'm thinking about putting my Wii in that cabinet and doing something similar. Now, the Wii U is a really good console for light gun games. They have tons of really good licensed light gun games on there. House of the Dead 2 and 3, that's a really good one. The Sega one is really good too. And also, I have my Wii modded, so I have an external hard drive with all kinds of games on there. Don't tell Nintendo. It's really good for emulation too, man. If you go onto the Homebrew channel, they have tons of games that you could download and load on there, and you could just use that for everything. All you have to do is get the a Wii U arcade stick. You map the buttons to the control deck, and you got yourself a nice arcade unit with just a Wii U. House of the Dead Overkill is another one. That's a pretty good game. Definitely check out those shooting games, the light gun games on the Wii U. I think the biggest thing you're gonna have to do with that is trying to find a good gun. I prefer the pistol type style gun. I don't like the Wii U Zapper, that long plastic weird looking thing. I think the Wii U Zapper with the trigger, I think the Nyko made a really good one. Definitely check that out. Happy's in the chat. What's going on, brother? One Real Cap, Big Red SNK. The first SNK machine that I've ever played was I went to a pizzeria shop in New York City, and they had a big giant Neo Geo multicade with Metal Slug 2 and Bubble Bobble or Puzzle Bobble. That was the first time that I remember playing a SNK machine. I don't have the MVSX, but I really want to get the MVSX. I just wish I had a better design, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they're gonna make another one. So if it ever goes on sale for like 150 or something a little cheaper, I'll definitely pick it up. It would be nice if they would do a $299 sale. I would go ahead and snap it up like that. And also, I believe you can swap out the monitors with the Unico. So one of the projects that we're looking at doing right now is I want to get a Unico 19-inch monitor. I've been looking on YouTube to see if anybody's put a 19-inch Unico monitor in their cabinets. As far as I'm aware, no one has done it yet. So I might have to be the first one to do that. I think it's about $299 or somewhere around $200 something for the 19-inch, and I think they just sold out their 26-inch. However, the problem with the 26-inch is that unless you have a real arcade cabinet in your house, there's no reason to get it because it's too big and it doesn't fit inside of any 3/4 scale machine. So you're not going to be able to do anything with that. But I mean, it's a monitor. You can do whatever you want with it. You're going to need a bigger machine though for the 26-inch. I kind of wish somebody would do a bigger XL. I don't even think you could put the 26-inch into the ALU, as far as I know. Candy Cab like Astro City, since that's fairly easy to swap the boards out. So I played a lot of Astro City cabinets when I went to Tokyo. Like I said, Super Potato, the upper level of the arcade was all Candy Cabs. They're all Astro Cities and Taito egret machines. Now, a lot of people are not nostalgic for that because we don't get that a lot in the United States. But if you go to Japan, they're everywhere. They're really popular, and they have all kinds of different games on there. So I played Super Mario Versus, and I played Windjammers on the Candy Cab. So when I went there, basically they have a small stool. You sit down in the stool. Every arcade machine had a ashtray, and some people had, like, you could drink a box of juice and then smoke your cigarette in the arcade cabinet right there. I'm surprised though that the cabs weren't yellow from all the smoking in there. That was totally a crazy experience. That was the first time that I got to sit down in an arcade machine like that, where people were smoking. Maybe in the 80s people did that a lot, but in the 90s you couldn't smoke indoors, so that wasn't a thing for me. Also, the Vulix cabinets. The Vulix cabinets is a Candy Cab, which is a little expensive, but I think Console Kits has one, if I'm not mistaken. I know P-Dubs has a Vulix cabinet. Very interesting. If you could get it for like $1,500, I think that's a good deal. You could put a Pandora's box in there or another PCB in there. It's got a widescreen, and then I guess you could put a JAMA board in there and then mess with your own controls. I would be interested in getting one Candy Cab. I think Arcade 1UP, you should really think about doing that. Get on it, man. There's a market for that. Console Kid said he got one for $1,200. That's a freaking steal. If you can get a Candy Cab for $1,200, definitely check it out. And P-Dubs got his for $1,000, even better, even better. So even less than $1,500, I would go for it. Think about that. Would you rather get a Candy Cab for $1,000, or would you get the Killer Instinct Deluxe? I'd rather go with the Candy Cab for $1,000. All right, guys. So we're doing about 30 minutes here. I'm gonna go for a few more minutes, and then I gotta get ready for work. So I want to know what you guys think about V Pinball, because I'm kind of out of space with the cabinets already, and I don't really want to sell. I'm not really big into selling my stuff, so that's why I modded my MVC cabinet. I'm modding the Simpsons. I'm probably going to be modding the Pac-Man head-to-head. I'm currently using it as a computer stand. My monitor right now is sitting on top of my Pac-Man head-to-head. So me, I rather turn my cabinets into something else rather than sell it. But I'm really looking forward to the At Games Legends Pinball 4K. That's a cabinet that I don't have any pinballs yet. So if I'm gonna get into pinball, I want to go with the latest model, higher resolution screen. Pinball is kind of big right now in some of the communities. B Kong is getting really into pinball. Michael B. the Game Genie, he's a pinball channel now, right? That's the joke that he's a pinball channel. I really want to get out there and start looking for pinballs because I don't get to play them a lot. I live in Florida, and the problem with Florida is that everything is super freaking far away, and I mean like really far. Everything is going to be a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes at the very least. So I have to use the pinball map and start looking around for arcades that have specific pinballs. But you know, I really want to try a modern day pinball. I know the Deadpool is one that I'm looking for. I want to play the Deadpool one. I want to play Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Foo Fighters is interesting. That's a new one that's come out. John D told me they're considering a candy cab. Do it, guys. I think that's more interesting than doing the casino cade. It doesn't have to be expensive, but just put out a new style of cabinet. I think that would sell really well. We really don't have. I mean, you can only buy a midway cabinet so many times, and the deluxe is pretty cool too. But I want to see something different from it's the same stuff all the time. Final Fantasy 9 is the most underrated Final Fantasy. You know what, Javi? That's really interesting. You don't hear a lot of people talk about Final Fantasy 8. The characters are popular because they were in Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that, but nobody ever talks about Final Fantasy 8. And like I said, because Final Fantasy 9 was kind of like right at the end of the PlayStation life cycle. More likely than not, if you catch in the store, you're going to see the greatest hits collection of that. When that game came out, the strategy guide sucked because you had to go on the internet for the strategy guide. And at that time, I didn't have high-speed internet. I think I was still using dial-up, or I had DSL. You had to go to a website. And what happens is once the servers go down, you can't access it anymore. So unless somebody took screenshots of the full Final Fantasy 9 online web guide, you weren't going to find out half that stuff. Still haven't had a chance to play Final Fantasy. Which one have you not played yet? The Final Fantasy 16 or any of them in general? I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. That game took way too long. That should have came out like last year. There's no reason to wait like almost 2 years for a sequel to a game that's like broken up into chapters. I got the DLC with Yuffie. That was really fun. I got through that like real quick. I'm looking forward to the next chapter of the game. If you played that game, the Final Fantasy Remake 7, they kind of changed the storyline a little bit, so it's not exactly a remake of the 7. They changed, like the timeline changed a little bit, so now it's really getting interesting. I want to see what they do with that one. Foo Fighters, that's one that B was talking about on the stream a lot. And TMNT and 007. I didn't even know they had a TMNT turntable, so definitely want to check that out. I might do that in the next coming weeks. Head out to an arcade. Hopefully I find one that's not going to take me an hour to get to and then an hour to come back. And if I do that, I'll record some of that footage and show you guys because I haven't been to any arcades since I've been to Florida. I heard that they do have a couple of big ones. My concern is, like I said, you have to drive everywhere in Florida, and it takes so long. You sit so long in traffic, it's kind of ridiculous. And we'll do one more subject, and then we'll end the stream here. Are you guys interested in the Nintendo Direct that came out? I pre-ordered a physical copy of Super Mario RPG Remake. I had that game on Super Nintendo, and I freaking sold it for $80 like a dumbass. I really wish I didn't sell my games because now my collection is I have like 6 Super Nintendo games and I have the FX Pax Pro. I really, really, really wish I would have kept that game because I didn't know that was going to go up in value. I think it's tapering down a little bit, but it's a really good game. You should definitely check it out. At first, when they announced it on the Direct, they only put the pre-order up for sale for digital. And I was like, what's going on? I want a physical copy of this game. I think what they should have done with our Super Mario RPG Remake was put out a physical special edition with a Geno keychain. Oh man, people would have bought that. They definitely should have put out a special edition of that game. And then Super Mario Wonder, I think Wonder World or Wonder whatever. That's interesting. I mean, Super Mario Brothers is always good. I guess they wanted to be a little bit different and they didn't want to do a new Super Mario Brothers 3 and they try to mix it up a little bit. That's gonna sell no matter what. I'm glad they're doing a new one for the Wii U, the Switch, because basically what they did with the Wii U version, they just ported it to Switch. I'm not gonna buy any game that they port from the Wii U to the Switch because, like I said, I have the hard drive with all the games on it. So I'm not gonna spend money on a port when I could play it for free on my Wii U. Tekken or Street Fighter, and maybe Street Fighter 3. Still waiting for the Arcade One Up Legacy cabinet. We know that they could do those games, and most likely at one point they will. With Arcade One Up, it's not a point of if they can do it; it's more a point of when they're gonna do it. We already know they're gonna come out with an alpha cab. We just don't know when they're gonna do it. The boards have the power to do it already. We know that they have the capability of doing it. It just needs to be done. The problem is that because they don't talk about any of this stuff, there's really no reason. There's really no reason to talk about it. There's nothing going on. We got a leak for like I said, the leak we got for Big Buck Hunter Deluxe, like a real deluxe, not the deluxe because they have a Big Buck called Deluxe, but that's just the name of the game. That's not the cabinet. I don't know if a lot of people are really interested in Big Buck Hunter Deluxe cabinet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the kit. I want to know what the artwork is. I'm hoping they do something cool with the art and it's not just a logo that says kit because that's just lame. And we'll see what they do with the future upcoming cabinets. Time Crisis, I'm looking forward to it, even though I already have a cabinet that I have with a light gun and it plays Time Crisis 1, 2, and 3 on there. I kind of want a dedicated a shooter style cabinet where I could put all that stuff in there. Are we going to buy 2 cabs to link them? Don't know. So Biggie D says Time Crisis this year. What do you think? Is it going to be somewhere in the end of summer, or do you think it's going to come out towards Christmas time? I'm kind of leaning more towards Christmas because I think they're redesigning it since everybody made fun of it for looking like a big banana. So I'm thinking they're going to redesign it and put it towards the end of the year, more like Christmas. The only issue is the pedal. If they do anything like the Fast and Furious pedal, it's going to suck, which means I'm probably going to have to buy a stronger pedal and maybe a Buy Stuff Arcades mod. I got the mod for the Fast and Furious. I have the Logitech pedal set up. So we'll see what comes up with Time Crisis. I might get that one, even though I'm kind of running out of space. Like I said, I want a dedicated cabinet that's designed specifically for shooting games. Because even though I have the MVC2 cab, it has all the buttons and the fighting sticks on it. I think it would look cool if I had something specifically for shooting where I could put the guns in the holsters. So I'm at the 38-minute mark, guys. Thanks for watching this episode of my podcast. It's the first episode. If you have any feedback, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Again, I'm learning. This is the first time I'm doing a stream, so I don't know how to do transitions yet. If you have any specific suggestions for me, go ahead and let me know in the comments so I can figure that out. Once I get used to doing this a little bit more, I want to have guests on and talk to other people in the community about doing, live streams and stuff. Maybe you guys can help me out. And I got to head over to work. So definitely thank you guys so much for showing up. Please hit the like on the way out. I hope this was entertaining. And like I say in all my videos, spread love, not hate. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.